I, 24 male, kicked out my roommate, 24 female, because she kept flirting with me even though I had a girlfriend. Should I help her now? Should I report what she did? I have been living in an apartment with this roommate for about 5 months. We moved in together during the pandemic. We were both looking for a cheaper option because of layoffs and cutbacks. I didn't lose my job, but I wanted to save money. She did, however, lose hers. Because of that, I offered to pay 70% of the rent until she found a job. We knew each other from college. We were pretty close friends, we hung out at a good bit and were in the same friend group. I'm currently dating someone. They live a good 2 hours away, so we have a long distance relationship. I don't get to see them that much and they rarely come over. My roommate is not dating. I've always found her attractive but have never thought of dating her, and I have never had any romantic or sexual feelings toward her. Shortly after we moved in, she would make casual, kinda flirty comments that I never thought much of. I thought that she was just being funny. It slowly seemed to progress further where I started taking more notice to it. She'd make very sexual comments when she'd catch a glimpse of me in just undergarment. It made me feel really uncomfortable. There'd be many times that she would just walk around in her undergarment as well. Sometimes she'd just come sit on the couch next to me like that and try to cuddle and get really close. When she first started doing that, I would just kinda ignore her or say something like, "Hey friend." But after I felt like she wasn't taking the hint, I finally reminded her that I'm dating someone. She said back to me, "Come on, you guys aren't dating. She lives like 5 hours away. That's not going to work out." I explained that I really cared for the girl and liked her a lot. I also told her that I didn't want to ruin our relationship as roommates and friends. She didn't really say much to that. I thought that she would understand. Nope. She snuck into my bed a few days later while I was half asleep. I woke up to her grabbing onto me. I jolted up because I was freaked out. I sleep naked, so she was right up against everything. I asked her what she was doing. She said that she was lonely. I got up, put clothes on and told her to leave. I explained that what she has been doing is totally inappropriate and just plain creepy. I told her that she was going to have to find somewhere else to stay. She was like, "Relax, I'm going back to my room." I told her no, that she needed to leave right now and find somewhere else to stay, and if she needs it I'll give her money for a night at a hotel. She kept begging me to stay. She said she has nowhere to go and that it's unfair because we are in the middle of a pandemic. I finally threatened to call the cops if she didn't leave. She finally did. The next morning I woke up to texts from some of mine and her friends. They were all saying I was a jerk for what I did. I feel bad that she had nowhere to go. Should I apologize to her for kicking her out? Should I make sure she has somewhere else she can go or help her out? TLDR, I kicked my roommate out because they behaved inappropriate with me. How would she feel if the roles were reversed and she was being sexually mistreated by someone? What she is doing is not okay. She seems like a predator to me. I would not give her a second chance. She's not getting the hints and you don't owe her anything. Kick her out for good and don't apologize. You deserve to feel safe in your own home. You did the right thing. She disrespected your boundaries and your relationship and sexually attacked you. She created a problem for herself. Imagine if the roles were reversed and you were the one to sneak into her bed while she's asleep and started touching her. You'd probably be behind bars right now. As for helping her, I'm not sure honestly, since she's being so disrespectful and refuses to take any responsibility for her ducked up actions. It comes down to how forgiving and generous you feel. What she did was totally gross and creepy. She probably didn't tell her friends anything about the fact you're in a relationship and she's been sexually mistreating you. You did nothing wrong in standing up for yourself, and there is nothing for you to apologize for. You can try to reason with her friends to explain why you kicked her out, but honestly, you don't owe her or her friends anything. Personally, I would ignore them and proceed to pack the rest of her stuff out of the apartment and explain to the landlord what's been going on so you can have her taken off the lease if there is one. Does she understand that her behavior is wrong, and will she respect your boundaries going forward? If so, I don't think you necessarily need to continue to punish her for what she did. If she doesn't, then she definitely can't live with you anymore. To what degree you want to help her avoid being homeless is up to you. She doesn't seem to understand since she has her friends against me now. I honestly wouldn't help her. You've helped her enough. The fact that she sexually mistreated you, disrespected your relationship, and a clear-cut no is on her, and let her deal with the consequences. And do not fear telling people what she did and defend yourself. If they re willing to side with her while knowing full truth of her actions, you're better off without such friends. Introducing Newscaster Vocalizer is a new first-of-its-kind, groundbreaking app, which allows you to generate full-featured voiceovers from any text using direct access to Amazon-powered Newscaster Vocalizer without spending thousands of dollars. Just select a language and voice, paste your text, click a button, and it's done. My 23 female boyfriend's 20 male ex makes me uncomfortable, but he guilted me when I brought it up. So we've been dating officially for 2 months, but have been very close for a year before we started dating. Meanwhile, BF and ex have been friends for years, and have a history of regularly falling out with each other. Before our relationship began and he was in a relationship with a different person, BF and ex were in a fallout. Ex spilled to people in our mutual friend group that BF had cheated on his then girlfriend with her. At the time, BF and I were just friends, and we briefly talked about it and he was extremely remorseful. His then GF didn't find out, but she broke up with him shortly after. Around 3 months later, BF and ex became acquaintances. She was, and still is, in a relationship, while he was not. Months went by and they became close again. He apologized for his behavior to her. He began venting to me, since we were also close then, about how ex's boyfriend was offensive and manipulative, and things that she'd tell him. She complained about her relationship to BF for months, saying she settled because she doesn't think she deserves anyone more good-looking, complaining about his behaviors to BF. She even told him that her boyfriend knew she still had feelings for my BF, and that if BF ever developed feelings for her she'd drop her boyfriend in a heartbeat. Funnily enough, she didn't deny it. Ex also told BF that she felt insecure, because she thought I was his replacement for her. Yet, at the same time, I would see her pitting BF and her jealous boyfriend against each other frequently, which made it seem to me like her boyfriend was the replacement, not me. She'd constantly joke about how much her boyfriend hated BF in front of me and other people, or try to bait BF into doing things that would piss off her boyfriend and make him react publicly. Besides all of this, I started noting that she seemed to be emotionally manipulating BF and doing toxic things towards him. First of all, she made him agree not to tell anyone about their fling, but then turned around and told all his friends about it. Furthermore, she told people about his mental illness, something which was a secret that only his trusted friends knew. And on top of that, she'd try to guilt him and cut him off whenever he'd confront her about anything or try to put distance. When we started dating, we talked about all of this. He told me he had no feelings for her whatsoever anymore due to her behavior toward him, but that he still cares about her as a friend. He said that in no way was I a replacement for ex, that she likely was projecting. He acknowledged her toxic behavior and wanted to keep their relationship at arm's length. I felt comforted by what he said and the actions that followed. However, when I started trying to be friends with her, that's when I noticed something was off. First, she'd always ignore me before I directly told her I wanted to be friends and would only talk to BF. When I did ask her if she'd like to be friends, she told me she didn't, then took a screenshot and sent it to BF as a joke. Then hours later went, "Hey, I was kidding, I'd love to be friends." Also, I totally sent that to BF. BF sent me screenshots, and she was making fun of me wanting to be friends with her. Whenever ex and I would be alone or in a group without BF, she'd only talk about him and would speak with a tone like she knew him more than me. She'd try to exclude me whenever she could. Whenever I'd ask BF or others about it, they'd just say she's just like that, also she doesn't know you well and she's socially anxious. She ultimately even flirted with BF in front of me by saying a selfie of his was hot. He seemed uncomfortable by it, so I asserted myself by saying I agree. They'd even hang out one-on-one when I was busy, but BF would only tell me after the fact and would never invite me. Whenever she felt depressed or upset for whatever reason, he'd immediately call or go hang out with her. Finally, I brought it up to him. Everything. And I asked what he was going to do about it, because I was uncomfortable and it was putting me in a weird position. I thought at the most he'd try to defuse it and say she was just like that and there was nothing happening. But instead, he got extremely defensive and emotionally volatile. He called me possessive, jealous, and insecure. I tried to explain that it wasn't that I didn't trust him, just that I didn't trust her, but it didn't really help. During the fight, he admitted he hadn't told her that we're in a relationship, because he thought I'd say no. He also tried to flip it on me, saying that a lot of my guy friends wanted my pants but that he's not hounding me to deal with it. Even though he had, and I'd set clear boundaries with those men and told him everything before he even asked. I apologized for the way I approached the situation too aggressively, but not for how I felt about it. He then apologized for the way he reacted. He said that his previous girlfriend had threatened she would herself if he didn't cut X off, which had sent him into a depressive spiral. That it was a trauma response, but that he was a defensive for saying what he did. I accepted the apology, but I still feel strange about how that interaction went. They're currently in another fallout, as he recently left her Discord server, and she recently blocked him, which led to him calling her out publicly because she started talking behind his back again. I have been told she recently also found out we were dating. I don't know if I'm allowed to have felt anxious or insecure, or if it's just a sign of deeper issues in myself of need for attention and jealousy. He's not the most emotionally expressive person, and I always felt like he expressed way more raw emotion with her than with me, even if it was of the negative variety. I just don't know if that's an issue with me or with him or her, or none of the above. Sorry for the extremely long post, it's just a lot of accumulated details instead of one big issue. TLDR, my boyfriend and his ex are still close, even though he told me she still has feelings for him and thinks that I, his current girlfriend, am a replacement for her, and I don't know how to feel about it because whenever I bring it up, he tells me I'm being distrustful and jealous for no reason. He has a woman in his life he is known to cheat with. When you voice your concerns, he exploded on you. What about this guy makes this much drama worth it? It's only been 2 months. He said that his previous girlfriend had threatened she would herself if he didn't cut X off. Well, yeah, he was cheating on his previous girlfriend with his ex. Does he not understand that his actions hurt other people? I guess if I'd listed all the positives, the post would have been too long. He's someone who's generally been extremely caring towards me and has emotionally supported me a lot through traumas that I've been working through. He's the type of person to give 100% to the people he cares about. I guess that's where the issue lies, where the wrong people were getting that 100% besides me and I didn't know how to take it. Also, regardless, I don't think it's acceptable to ever threaten someone like that no matter how hurt you are. Maybe that's just my opinion though. I still understand her position, but yeah. You're overcomplicating this. Trust your gut. You know this is unacceptable behavior. I guess that's where the issue lies, where the wrong people were getting that 100% besides me and I didn't know how to take it. You walk away. You don't accept this kind of behavior. Nice guys who do bad things are bad guys. I don't think it's acceptable to ever threaten someone like that. I don't either, but my point was that him saying that he was hurt by her threats is really hollow when he was actively cheating on her. And to talk about how it hurt him to you, while refusing to get rid of the woman he cheated with, is just so incredibly selfish. He isn't giving you 100% and you shouldn't let him convince you he is. This woman is in his life through different girlfriends and is always the center. You knew he was a cheater and a lot before you got together. This sounds like a vicious cycle with this guy. I realize I worded this improperly. I meant to say that I'm hopeful because I love him and because he's officially cut her off. Not that I felt I could change him in any way. I'm well aware that it's not my job. I was hoping the cycle can break now, since I genuinely love him a lot and don't know how the next few months will play out now that she's not in his life anymore. I don't know if I'm being stupid for thinking that it'll get better. I always want to give it everything I got until it's clear that nothing is working. Maybe that's more of a problem than a good trait though. Oh bless you, honey. You're not so special that you can change a serial cheater. Don't be stupid, take the rose-colored glasses off and tell him to duck off. I realized I didn't phrase the sentence well to convey what I was trying to say, but I agree with you 100%. The only person who can do anything is him, not me. Which he has, so I'm going to keep an eye out for a while to see what happens. It's 2 months and you're already dealing with this crap? Your boyfriend needs to spend some serious time with a therapist to unwind the hold she has on him. I suggest you don't wait around for him to sort himself out. Thank you for your input. He is currently seeing someone. I'm not sure how much they've talked about her, but I know they've talked about the issue at least once. I have a feeling he'll be bringing up everything that's going on next week, because God is at a crap show. Worldwide comments of the day. This woman seems like she didn't want to even confront her own feelings and the thought that maybe after 3 years of a relationship that she knows nothing about him. She put him in position where no matter what his feelings are he will have to comfort her ultimately. He needs to feel truly wanted by her and reassured she has trust in him, and Pokemon. What the duck? It's not rocket science. You remind him of his ex because you are similar in behavior. He dislikes the girl, it's that simple, move on. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting and relatable Reddit videos.